Hi, it's Nell, and today's video is all about pruning succulents, pruning indoor succulents. Even though I'm outdoors, it's about pruning indoor succulents. So stick around for that. And as usual, there is a blog post to go along with this that'll have more details in it and have pictures, because you know I always forget to say something in these videos, so you can head on over to the blog post. It'll actually be in the first two lines of the description box and also on our website, JoyUsGarden.com. You can find all the other succulent videos and blog posts there too. So on to pruning succulents. I'm doing a separate video on pruning trailing, succulents, hanging, succulents. So that one is going to post after this one. This one is about upright ones. So when do you prune them? It's, the same time. Spring, summer, fall, or early fall are the optimum times. If a stem breaks, if it spills over in the winter and you have to prune it, of course, of course do it, but spring, summer into early fall are the optimum times. And why? Well, succulents are notorious for getting leggy. Like for instance, this Echeveri here. It's normally sold as a rosette, but they get these long, tall stems. It's just how they grow. So you want to control the growth on them. Or perhaps it's getting too wide. Again, that's under controlling. And the growth, if you want to deadhead it, this flower is just fine. But if you wanted to deadhead it, is a reason to prune it, to take out dead stems, or if you want to rejuvenate it. Those are a few reasons why you prune. And of course to propagate, that's a big reason too. So one important thing to do is to make sure that your pruning implement, whatever you use, is clean and sharp. For thicker stemmed ones, I use my Felcos, and for the finer stem ones, I use these floral nips. And I have a video and a post for you on how to clean and sharpen pruners. It's very easy to do, so I have you covered on that. It'll be below and also in the blog post. So where you cut depends on the succulent. There are so many different succulents, and also what you want to do with it or what you want it to do. So I think the easiest way is for me just to show you pruning on some of my succulents I have here. I have about 6 of them I'm going to prune, so I'm just going to go through them and you can see what I do. And this is deadheading here. I'm just going to go ahead and take it off, to take it all the way down as close as you can, and that's it. And that's how you deadhead a flower. You take it all the way back. For instance, I wouldn't cut it here because there's going to be no foliage growing here. I take the stem all the way back. This sedum here is way too long. It's very heavy too. So what I am going to do, it also has this curve to it. So I'm going to cut it right about here. Right, just straight across here. There. And now there'll be a new stem coming up there. And this, if I was going to propagate it, I would just take off these lower leaves here, let it heal over, and done. And then that gives me a much nicer. Actually, I would probably even, because these tend to grow pretty thick. So I would probably do it. And there's a node there, so I'm going to cut it just below the node. So that's how I would prune that one. And you can also propagate the leaves if you want to. I don't, because I have more succulents than I want. Okay, this Echeveri here. It's hard to tell that this is an Echeveri because it is so overgrown. They actually probably thought that I was crazy buying this plant, but it was perfect because I could show you. You can tell it's the Echeveri because it has ruffled edges in there. Are normally seen as much more of a low rosette. And this one I want to cut right Well, I'm just going to cut it here. I'm just going to cut it right there. I'm actually not going to save that, but there should be a new plant appearing there. But this I'm going to actually do the same thing. I'm going to cut it even more because I am going to propagate it. I don't want to get too much into propagation here because I've already done a video on that. And now with this princess pine here, I just planted this the other day, and these in, I think it was the for the succulents in shallow containers, and these stems are just so fine, they break really easy, so I'm just going to cut it right there. And this one, oh, that one is broken anyway. So there we go. And then I'm going to let this heal over. I'll just do that too. I'll just, strip these bottom few things. I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to let this heal over for only a day, then I'm going to put it right back in. Now, this jade is so small, it really doesn't need pruning. I'm just going to show you. Say you think it's too full and you want to take out a stem. I would go all the way down and just do that straight cut across there. And there's that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant that back in there. But jades are so popular. And with the lovely mistletoe cactus here, for this, I would just take a branch. I'm not actually going to prune it because this is small and it doesn't really need too much, but I would take an arm all the way back to the stem here and go there. Or if you wanted to take a smaller one, you could go right there. And this is the miniature pine tree. It gets about 3 feet tall or so, but see how it has this trunk here, it has this tree form here, and then it has this stem coming off here. I might want to just cut this all the way off here just to have a single sort of a trunk thing going on here. So this is a case of succulents getting overgrown. The Panda Plant is another succulent that does very well indoors. I just have it staked up because I wanted to save the pruning for this video because I knew I was going to do it. I pruned off these two in the propagating one, but I'm going to prune it right about, I think about here, and I'm going to use my thicker pruners here. There. Oops. And this I'm not quite sure if I'm going to save or not. I'll see how it does. I might just heal this off and plant this back in here in its place, because what has happened is this Echeveri has gotten mealybug. And I'm going to use the pointer here. And I'm doing my last succulent pruning of the day, but if I was going to go on and prune something else, I would fill this with half alcohol and half water, and I would put my pruners in there after each cut, because there's been a little bit of mealybug gotten in here. But you can see this stem has gotten heavy and it's just fallen over. I let this planter get this way so I could show you how succulents get. This I'm not even going to save. It's got mealybug so bad, and you can see mealybug there. I've done a separate video on mealybugs and aphids. I also covered this in problems you may have with succulents. I just take a Q-tip, half alcohol, half water, and I swab it, but this has gotten pretty bad. So out it goes. And I'm just going to go and prune all these. This one I'm not going to save either. Well, this one I think I'll save. I'm just going to dunk it in alcohol and water to get rid of the mealybug. You can do that also. Then I'm just going to cut these all the way back. And then I'm just going to redo this whole planting here, so this will probably this will go back in, 1 or 2 of these will go back in, and then I have 1 or 2 new succulents I can plant in here. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change, the soil on it too, just in case there's any in the soil. But that's one thing that succulents get indoors. My houseplants are, again, my tropical houseplants are all pest-free, except for the Hoya got aphids in the spring, but succulents are susceptible to mealybug, and that's might be another reason why you have to prune them. The succulents that I've done separate videos on pruning are the pencil cactus. Succulents in general, that was an outdoor one, but you can get an idea because I also prune a paddle plant there, which is another popular plant, and you can see how I prune that. Again, it's outdoors, but you prune the same for indoors. Then I have one on the burro's tail sedum, the fishhook senecio, and as I said, I've got a separate one on the paddle plant itself, and you can find those on the website, but I will link them in the blog post in case you're interested in those specific plants. So I hope you have found this video to be helpful. I have a lot more videos coming your way, so stay tuned for those. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I appreciate you being here. Now let's get into our indoor succulent gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I thank you so much for watching, and so long.